In the beginning there was a garden, a paradise, a place called Eden. Here, humanity lived in a state of pure innocence, unaware of the vast complexities that lay just beyond their grasp. But into this perfect world slithered a creature of profound mystery, the serpent. It appears in the 3rd chapter of Genesis not as a monster of fire and brimstone, but as something far more subtle. It is described simply as more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. This simple description opens a universe of questions. Was this just an animal, or was it something more? The story doesn't tell us. It leaves us to wonder, to search for meaning in the shadows of this ancient tale. The serpent does not command or threaten. It asks a question. Did God really say, "You must not eat from any tree in the garden"? This is a simple question, yet it carries the weight of rebellion, of curiosity, of the first inkling of doubt. It plants a seed in the mind of Eve, a seed that will grow into the tree of knowledge itself. The creature's power is not in its fangs or its might, but in its words. It speaks with a logic that is both compelling and dangerous, challenging the established order of paradise. It represents a voice that was previously unheard in the perfect harmony of Eden, a voice that whispers of possibilities and consequences, forever altering the course of human existence. This encounter is the catalyst for everything that follows. The serpent is not merely a bystander, it is the agent of change. By engaging Eve in conversation, it introduces the concept of choice where none existed before. Humanity was living under a single, simple rule, but the serpent presents an alternative path, a different way of seeing the world. It suggests that God's command is not for their protection but for their limitation. This moment, this conversation between a woman and a serpent, becomes the pivot upon which the entire human story turns, from a state of blissful ignorance to one of conscious awareness, with all the burdens and freedoms that come with it. Why a serpent? Throughout ancient cultures, this creature has carried dual meanings. In some traditions, it is a symbol of evil, chaos, and deceit. The way it moves, silently and close to the earth, has long been associated with the underworld and hidden dangers. Yet, in other cultures, the serpent represents something entirely different. It is a symbol of wisdom, healing, and transformation. Its ability to shed its skin is seen as a powerful metaphor for rebirth and renewal. This duality is at the heart of the Eden story. The serpent is both tempter and teacher, a creature that brings about a fall, but also an awakening. Its identity is a puzzle, one that has captivated us for millennia. So what was this creature truly? Scholars and theologians have debated this for centuries, and the answers are as varied as they are fascinating. The most straightforward interpretation is that it was a literal animal. The text itself describes it as one of the wild animals the Lord God had made, and its punishment, to crawl on its belly and eat dust, suggests a physical transformation. In this view, the serpent is simply a beast, albeit a uniquely cunning one, that became a vessel for a moment of cosmic rebellion. This reading keeps the story grounded in the natural world, a fable about the dangers of listening to the wild rather than the divine word. However, many scholars see the serpent as a powerful mythic symbol, drawn from the cultural landscape of the ancient Near East. In neighboring civilizations like Egypt and Canaan, serpent deities were common. They often represented forces of chaos that stood in opposition to the gods of order. The author of Genesis may have been using this familiar imagery to make a theological point. By casting the serpent not as a god but as a mere creature, the story demotes these rival deities. It asserts the singular power of the Hebrew God over all creation, including the potent symbols of chaos and primordial wisdom that other cultures worshipped. The most famous interpretation, however, came much later. The idea of the serpent as Satan in disguise is not explicitly stated in the book of Genesis. This connection was developed over time in later Jewish and Christian texts. The book of Revelation, written centuries later, speaks of that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. This retroactively casts the Eden serpent as the ultimate adversary, the embodiment of pure evil. This view transformed the story from a tale about human choice and divine command into an epic battle between cosmic forces of good and evil, with humanity caught in the middle. Each of these interpretations offers a different lens through which to view the story. Is it a simple fable about a talking snake? A sophisticated piece of theological polemic against pagan gods? Or the opening chapter in a cosmic war between God and Satan? The beauty of the text is that it can support all of these readings. The serpent remains an enigma, a shapeshifter in our collective imagination. It is a testament to the power of a story that refuses to provide easy answers, instead forcing every generation to wrestle with its meaning and decide for itself what that creature in the garden truly represents. The serpent's most profound role is as the bearer of a difficult gift knowledge. It offers Eve not an apple but a revelation. Your eyes will be opened, it promises, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. This is the core of the temptation. It is not about a simple act of disobedience, but about the deeply human desire for enlightenment, for transcendence, for a glimpse behind the curtain of reality. The serpent introduces the idea that there is something more to be known, that the state of innocence is also a state of ignorance. It frames the forbidden fruit as the key to unlocking a higher state of being, a tantalizing prospect for any thinking creature. This pursuit of knowledge comes at a great cost. The moment Adam and Eve eat the fruit, their eyes are indeed open. But what they see is not divine glory. They see their own nakedness. Their first act of consciousness is to feel shame. This is the tragic irony of the story. The knowledge they gain is not just of good but also of evil. They learn of vulnerability, of fear, of separation from God and from each other. Paradise is lost not because of a malicious act, but because of the acquisition of a truth too heavy for their innocent state to bear. The serpent, therefore, becomes a symbol of this difficult trade-off, the exchange of blissful ignorance for painful awareness. This event marks a fundamental transformation in the human condition. It is the end of childhood and the beginning of adulthood for our entire species. With knowledge comes autonomy, the freedom to choose one's own path. Before, Adam and Eve's lives were dictated by a single, simple command. Now, they must navigate a world of complex moral choices, weighing good and evil for themselves. The serpent in this light can be seen as a catalyst for human growth. It forces humanity out of the cosmic cradle and onto a journey of self-discovery, a journey defined by struggle, by work, and by the constant challenge of making moral decisions. The serpent's legacy is this very duality. It brought about pain, toil, and mortality, the curse of the human condition. Yet it also unlocked the very things that define us: our capacity for reason, our moral compass, our art, our science, and our endless quest for understanding. Without the serpent's intervention, would we have ever strived for anything? The story suggests that to be fully human is to live with the consequences of that fateful choice in the garden. We live east of Eden, in a world of our own making, forever grappling with the knowledge that the serpent first offered.